Welcome to Decades, hosted by Chris Rubio. Decades is a show made up of 5 generations of people brought together to discuss topics you wouldn't normally talk about with others. The goal of the show is to learn by having some good, possibly heated discussions, without losing the simple fact that it's okay to talk to different people with different opinions other than your own.
Welcome, everybody, to Decades Light and Chill, a show where it's guys talking about stuff, just dudes being dudes, and brothers checking on brothers. Tonight we have myself, Sub60 Ed, Alex on tech, Crazy Man, and our long lost brother from another mother back with us again, Mr. Charles Schultz. Mike McDonald and Pete Johnson are hopefully going to be joining us later. So, gentlemen, how are we tonight?
Good.
All right. Doing well.
Excellent. That's good to hear. Hey, I had a thought today. I came across a person's stream, person in a wheelchair. And this person was talking about how they didn't like being the inspiration for others. They're in a wheelchair and they're doing a lot of different things. I shared with this person, I said, I don't really, I respect what you're saying, but I don't get it. And I kind of explained, I said, as a sub-60 little person, people say I inspire them. And I think, that makes me feel good. But then I took it a step further and I said, you don't have to be different to be inspirational to others. And I gave her the example, Michael Jordan. You see MJ, the stuff MJ did, that's inspirational. Or you see a guy like Rudy from the things of that other, everybody can be inspirational to others. So I guess, kind of one of the things we could talk about like starting off here. Well, like what inspires you? What inspires you? What do you see as inspirational when you're looking at, life and stuff like that? For me, one of the things that inspires me is my kids, seeing my kids kind of succeeding, working hard, fighting through their struggles. And, as a dad, that kind of makes me proud. And at the same time, it makes me want to work even harder, for them, even though they're 20-somethings. Pete Johnson, welcome.
Hello.
We can talk about that. So we're talking about what inspires you. What is an what? And we're just kind of going around right now. I just shared the story. I don't know if you heard it. So came across the person's Instagram page, and they don't like being the inspiration. They're in a wheelchair. They do a lot of stuff, and they don't like being called an inspiration. I shared with the person. I said I don't really. I respect your opinion, but I don't get it because I think we should. For me, I like hearing that I inspire somebody, even if it's something I do natural. So I want to get your takes on what is inspirational to you, what is inspiring, and so on. Whoever wants to go first.
So I got an interesting thing about that is I don't think we as people have control whether or not we're an inspiration to somebody else. So I get like not wanting to be the inspiration, but the actions that they're taking are inspirational. Therefore, people are drawn to it. And I think that's the thing that I always look at is inspirational people are doers, right? They don't just say the thing, they do the thing. Mm-hmm. And when somebody is at a disadvantage and still is a doer, that's highly inspirational. Right? Somebody breaks their leg and battles back through the adversity to become the person they once were is inspirational. The actions they took through the adversity. And so we're easily drawn to people who are undersized or injured or with a disability or something that's putting them behind the proverbial 8 ball to start and not using it as a crutch, but doing the thing anyway. And you said your kids are inspirational, and it's I agree that they can be too. But when I look for inspiration out in the world, it's those types of people who don't lean on excuses but find solutions, and they put themselves out there in that kind of way.
Exactly. Agree. I mean, that's a very good point there, Charles. Anybody want to add to that, or what do you guys? What do you say, Alex? What do you? Inspirational or inspiring to you?
Well, I agree with you that kids
my kids are also, inspiring people. Like, I saw them basically from nothing to now in their 20s and, finishing college and doing work and basically, being useful to society. And I also hope that I inspire them somewhat, like my story, coming to the country 30 years ago with almost nothing and basically, uh, supporting my family, and setting an example. And, in that way, I hope I inspire them to achieve something as well. Okay. And as far as somebody else who would inspire me, well, anybody who basically, again, had some disadvantages in life, disabilities, etc. For example, as a good example, is one of the co-founders of Google. His parents brought him from Russia, like 40 plus years ago as a little kid, and then he became a guy who founded one of the biggest companies in the states. And he didn't come from like some kind of inheritance or money. Okay, him and
Right.
his partner achieved stuff on their own. Okay, so that's big inspiration to me.
Well, that's great. Yeah, that's a good point. And your story. People like yourself, our friend Marco, and some of the others that have migrated legally to the states. We won't get into immigration. That's next week's. That's for decades caliente. No, but Michael. So what do you think? What is it? What do you find inspiring? What inspires you to be you? To whatever. What's inspiring?
I think there's people who inspire you because they've done amazing things or they've faced adversity. But I also, I think to a certain extent, it's a little bit great on a curve. Like I know people when I hear their life story and I hear some of the things they've gone through and some of the things they've fought through. Like you see people, everybody wants to talk about their sports heroes who are inspiring, or maybe some politician or business guy who came up from nothing, or somebody like that, or you see all these inspiring stories when you watch the Olympics. They always have these little bio reels about people. It's all and absolutely true. They're all very inspiring and they're doing amazing things. But there are some people I find inspiring where when you hear more about their life and you see all the stuff they're juggling and all the stuff they've been through, it's amazing to me that they get out of bed and they get through the day without jumping off a bridge. You know what I mean? Like some people just to get through the day and pull out of the driveway and they're back in the driveway at 6 o'clock and stay up till 11 o'clock helping their kids with their homework. They can be inspiring in the adversity, the day-to-day adversity they come over with. And I think I try when I meet people, I really in the last couple of years tried to find the inspiring elements of the day-to-day more, because then I get inspired more to pull myself up from my bootstraps on the days where I just want to lay in bed or call in sick or whatever. Because I think, life is great. And a lot of us on this podcast are probably doing real well compared to most people, but it doesn't, but your pain's your pain. It doesn't mean that you don't have a hard
Oh,
day.
right.
And I think
100%.
that's important to focus on. And I think culturally we're becoming more attuned to the idea that people, there's inspiring moments in everyday lives.
Yeah. No, that's a good take, Mike. How about you, Pete? You're gonna go last, crazy man, because you couldn't figure out how to get on the show.
I'll agree with everything everybody said. Like what Alex said. Like I had a very brief time as a expat in a different country, and I just didn't really appreciate, because I've been around people from all over the world that have come to New York City in advertising and creative places I've worked, and I just thought, oh wow, they're just living the dream. Like they're hanging out in New York. Like it's so hard. It is so hard to be in another country. And I have great respect for that, and that's inspiring. I heard that. Yeah, I lived that firsthand. But I'm going to be, like I said, I agree with everything you're saying. I'd be a little more selfish for everybody here and say, I'm inspired by the person I was like the person I'm going to be, like, you think about the goals you set. Like, I don't know, for me, like I'm trying to find some new goals now. And when I look back, I'm like, oh wow, I wanted to become a firefighter and I did it. I wanted to stay in shape and I'm doing it. Like little minor things like that. It's not huge adversity that I'm overcoming. But if you think about the goals and the things you're going through in your life, you're different than you were 6 months ago than 2 weeks ago. And I think when you think about how you've grown, I don't think we give ourselves enough grace to see how far we've come individually. Like it's great to look outside for inspiration, but also don't forget you're living this thing yourself and you're doing pretty well.
That's a great point, Pete. And I think sometimes I think people can have a tendency to be too hard on themselves in the sense that they don't say, like you said, you wanted to become a fireman and you did. I mean, it's not for the guys who don't know you. You're not some big hulking 6'4", 200+ pound to be fireman. You know what I mean?
And I'm 55, so yeah, it's
and you're
a little
55, late. So I mean, but you're still a lean, mean fighting machine. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, no, that's a good point. Is I think we have to, through our lives, and as Mike was saying, we all have our own struggles as well, and those can't be denied. We need to take those into account. All right, crazy man. Since last but not least, what's your inspiration?
I mean, growing up, my grandfather was my inspiration on how hard he worked, how he went through World War II, coming back from being a POW. But as Charles says, everybody inspires each other. As an athlete, I'm inspired by different athletes because there's one that's called Blind Pete. He does the obstacles with a handler, but he's blind. So he does that inspires me. What else something that drives me is I always like to prove somebody wrong when they say that you can't do it. And at 56, will be 57 this year, coming year. I'm trying to stay in shape. I have goals and drives to continue on to support our veterans, leaders, and firefighters with the nonprofit that I work with. So that goal is to become one of our own mask athletes. And hearing the stories by other people where they put their tied their bootstraps together and dug themselves out of the hole from talking from firefighters, talking police officers that been down that road and how much they fought back. That's inspiring to me. And if we can inspire somebody else in the world, we don't know. So we all live on this big blue marble. And our job, I think, just besides treating everyone with dignity and respect, is to inspire each other to be better than they were, as Pete said, 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, 2 years ago.
Right, exactly. That's a good point. It's a great point, Alan. I mean, I think you guys have all summed it up really well. It's all about, kind of taking inspiration from the world around us, whatever that is, whether it's somebody just getting out of bed in the morning, because I think we've all been there. We've all been sitting there saying, oh my God, do I really have to get up today to go to work? Even if you are working from home or something.
Yeah.
Or, and then Pete decides to go fight fire, instead. Pete doesn't only go up to go to work, but he goes and fights fires, starts a business. But I think that's, and to Alan's point, we all have to realize that somebody's watching us from somewhere, probably being inspired and not saying anything. So I think we're challenged to live our best life in that sense. No, that was good stuff, guys. Thank you for all that input. Now we're going to take it to a little bit later note. As I was sitting here doing the math, this is our last episode before Christmas. Because next week's the 17th, and then we're not doing one Christmas Eve because I don't want any of your wives to come after me with any kind of malice or anything like that. Yeah, there's Santa Claus, exactly, or Santa Claus. So and I'm getting called up to the North Pole soon anyway, in the next week or so to help out. So with that being said, let's talk Christmas movies. What is your Well, I'm going to start with Mike because I think Mike's going to have some great answers. Mike, what's your go-to Christmas movie?
The one I find myself watching every year, usually late at night by myself when I'm wrapping presents or hanging out. And the first time I saw it, I can say for a fact, was with Peter Johnson there in the square next to me at some Googleplex movie theater in Oakton, Virginia. The one I can't, as crazy as it sounds, the one I can't get through the last 10 minutes of without crying is Scrooged with Bill Murray.
I was going to say the same thing, Michael.
When he's on live television, just the way that whole movie is crafted to never quite lose sight of the Dickens thing, but at the same time be a send-up of modern culture and modern entertainment, and all of it's just so well done. And nobody does Crazy Rant better than, It Just Doesn't Matter or all those great Bill Murray speeches. And the way he nails, you're going to be hungry for it, and you're going to want it every day. At the end, I get goosebumps every time. I get goosebumps. I can't not watch that movie without crying. I know it's there's other great ones out there and more classic ones, and but that one just does me. It just hits me in a soft spot every year.
Well, that's not a bad one. That's pretty good. What do you think, Crazy Man? What's your go-to?
I agree with him. It's like Scrooge is one, and also it's not a Christmas movie, Die Hard.
Yes, it is. Die Hard is Christmas.
It's a Christmas movie. So is Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, so is Lethal Weapon. Yes.
Exactly, Ed. Exactly. No one talks. Lethal Weapon has other problems. It didn't age very well, but yes, it's a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie too. Absolutely.
Oh.
So yeah, how about you, Mr. Schultz? What do you say?
So I'm in a weird stage probably compared to you guys because all my kids are 6, 4, and 2. So I'm watching all the cartoon ones right now. The Grinch on repeat.
Yeah.
And my daughter's in love with Home Alone. Like she can't go through.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Watching that 84
That's a classic.
Times. She's reciting lines at 4 years old now of the whole movie. I'm just, what is happening over here?
Yeah.
Another one that I really like though, that's kind of a fun, different kind of take on Santa is the Christmas Chronicles on Netflix.
Yeah.
I think it's Michael Douglas. Is that right?
It's no, it's Kurt Russell.
No, Russell. Yes. I enjoyed those, both of them. I thought the first one was better, but they're fun.
I have a friend who raves about those. I haven't watched them yet. I've been meaning to.
Yeah, I think they're a lot of fun.
Either. What do you say, Alex? What is your go-to movie?
Well, of course, I mean, I like Die Hard and partially because that building in Century City is like for 5 minutes drive from where I live, where the whole thing happened, okay? Mm-hmm. And also, I would say the whole Santa series with Billy Bob, where he plays like a drunk Santa, I mean, kind of funny. Another one would be All Christmas with Jim Carrey, probably a 10 years old or 15 years old movie. It was kind of funny and tragic at the same time, but it's like also Christmas one.
Well, that's a good one. I guess my go-to, and I thought somebody would say it, is Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase.
Oh yeah,
I love that. Is like a family. That is not only my immediate family, but my extended family is a staple. It almost, I mean, what is it? I think the 24 Days of Christmas on whatever the Hallmark Channel plays it as well. So, and we have it on DVD and on streaming it. So it's all kind of we can all do lines. And actually, funny thing is that Jen and Vlad found an advent calendar at Costco for Christmas Vacation, and it's nice. the calendar itself is the house, and as you open them up, it's like you pull like the first couple days it was the characters, like it was Chevy and it was like the 2 kids, the wife. Vlad just opened one. It was the RV just came out. Clark, that's what we call an RV. That's going with me when I leave next month. Anyway. So that's good enough.
Right. You're going to get in that little RV and drive it up?
Yeah, no, I don't have it. Nope, no RV here. No RV here. Stay, not going anywhere. So what else is going on with everybody? So we've got, we got Christmas stuff. Go ahead.
Real quick time out though. If my kids were here right now, they'd be mad that no one mentioned Elf with Will Ferrell, which is a great is a great
Call
one.
me Elf. Call me Elf one more time.
One more time, Dinklage. Dinklage is so good.
Yes.
So I will. But the one thing I was going to say is, if you want a recommendation for an offbeat movie that is a Christmas movie, is I really like The Ref with Dennis Leary, which if you've never seen it, is what's his name? Kevin Spacey and I think Judy Davis or somebody, and they're sort of a wealthy couple. They're fighting. The scene opens where they're finishing up marriage counseling on Christmas Eve, and they go home, and Dennis Leary plays a guy who's broken into a house, and he's hiding from the cops, and he breaks into their house and holds them at gunpoint. It all revolves around Christmas Eve and him trying to get out, and it's a great little comedy with a little bit of heart and a little bit of depth in it that you didn't expect to see towards the end, and it works really well. So if you're looking for something new to just kill 90 minutes, look up The Ref with Dennis Leary. It's a good little movie, especially if you like Dennis Leary, because I think he's always entertaining.
Yeah. We could always talk about Pete. You're on the East Coast, and we're approaching 10 p.m. And I got to give you props if you're cooking. You're cooking at 10 p.m.
I started way too late. It's like my mom's recipe. It takes like to get the perfect consistency. It takes like 4 hours, and I didn't start until 5:30.
Hey, you know what?
Everyone's eating. We'll have it tomorrow.
Yeah. They'll be like, Dad's slacking, just going to the firefighter meeting and just doing all this other stuff.
You didn't start late, Pete. You started early.
That's true. It's early for tomorrow. You're right.
There you go. That's you know
what I find that very. I don't know about you guys, but I find that very inspiring.
I was just about the same thing. I find it very inspiring too. That is inspiring. You are ahead of the game. You're so far. You're either really last today or you're real early tomorrow.
Exactly.
I'm so inspired. I'm going to throw something on the smoker and cook it for 15 hours. So I'm way ahead too. We're going to go with that.
That's awesome.
Charles, it's not a contest. Come on, man.
No.
I don't have a smoker. You got to get a smoker now.
I'm just kidding. I'm
going to have to fight frostbite here in Ohio, but it'll be fine.
Oh, yes.
I'm no one to judge. Basically, I'm inspired if I remember something I put in the microwave 5 minutes before and don't leave it there all day.
Mine's if I find.
I'm inspired if I have the gumption. I'm inspired if I have the gumption to heat up the cold pasta in there or just eat it cold. That's So, Charles, are you guys buried in snow, or did you get snow where you're at?
No, we actually missed it. Buffalo got smashed. North of us got smashed, and we were kind of stuck where we got some light flurries and nothing crazy. We got cold for a little bit, though. It was down in, I don't know, like 11, 12, 14, something like that for a little bit. The last few days have been nice. It was like 50 out, so I'm outside of the t-shirt and shorts.
Yeah.
And people are like, "What is this guy doing?" I'm like, "This is summer in the wintertime of Ohio."
Yeah.
So where are you in Ohio?
So it's Worcester, which is south of the Cleveland area, near Akron.
Okay.
30, 35.
Do you know Thurman?
Say it again.
Thurman?
Sounds familiar, but I'm not sure.
I'll be there. They do obstacle course racing there, and I'll have some training in there.
Where's that near? What other?
It's west. It's east of Columbus.
East of Columbus. So out towards like Zanesville, or is it not that far?
Jackson or somewhere around.
Okay, I know where you're talking about now.
There.
Yeah, because I was from Columbus initially. We just moved up this way. So
what's everybody got planned for? So what do we got going on for Christmas? People staying in the area. We going out. Everybody, what's going on?
I'm going to PA.
I'm staying in the Hudson Valley.
Hudson Valley.
We're staying local. The day after Christmas, we're driving up to the Berkshires for a week or for like 5 days or something.
Are you stopping by, Michael? Are you stopping by on your
cold
way?
And snowy, I'm sure.
Are you stopping by my house on the way?
I thought about pitching that to the family. I haven't gotten around to thinking about that far, but I might have to.
Well, you're welcome.
We'll come by for lunch and
Sure.
Do you have any spaghetti sauce for us?
We can hop in the sauna. Get the
He's
sauna
what-
fired up for you. It'd be nice.
He's way
Well,
ahead
you
on
got
the
the
spaghetti
sauna going.
sauce,
All right,
Mike.
you might have me in sauna.
No, he's got the spaghetti sauce already, Mike. So
Yeah.
you're good. You're
Keeps
good with
really
that.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Alex? What are you doing this Christmas, man?
We are planning to drive to Temecula wine country for a couple of days. It's like towards San Diego, like an hour and a half south of Los Angeles. Just to hang out, visit some wineries, maybe do some horseback riding that we did a couple of years ago. I mean, just relax, just change the scenery. That's all.
All right. How about you, Mr. Schultz?
Christmas is going to be around here, but after Christmas, we're going to drive to Branson, Missouri.
Oh, okay.
Spend a week there. My daughter's birthday is the 29th, and it's always gets smashed in with Christmas, and everybody's off and doing stuff, and like they don't really we don't really get the chance to celebrate. So we're going to go and we're going to stop in St. Louis and go. I heard they had a really cool kids museum and go up in the arch and then swing over to Branson and spend some time doing some stuff with her.
That'll be fun. Yeah, my brother had my youngest brother since the
Definitely love Branson.
Yeah. I'm a
We've
big
been
fan of Gatlinburg, and I heard Branson's kind of like Gatlinburg-ish.
It's like Vegas, but on a smaller scale.
I'm cool
You
with
have
that.
all these little shows and so forth.
Yeah.
If you can see, I don't know if they'll be there, but it's a group called Buckets and Boards.
Okay.
Two guys, comedians, and they bang in things on like from drums to all different stuff, and they're great.
Awesome. I'll make sure I mark that down.
That sounds fun. Yeah, and we're staying in the area, as we normally do. Jen's mom is down in Strasburg, Virginia, which is about an hour west of here. So we'll go visit her in her home. Because every Christmas is a blessing at this point, since we're playing with God's money. She's had Alzheimer's for 13 years, so you don't usually hear people having Alzheimer's for 13 years. So it's kind of right. We do, like I think I said on our Thanksgiving time, we did Thanksgiving with my fam, and then we'll go visit her, and then Jen's sister's coming up from Raleigh with her husband and kids, and so we'll probably do something there and just kind of keep it low key in the area, And then 2025 will come, and then the fun really begins.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just we get to see the fun that begins with that. So yeah. So I was talking with Alex just recently, and he and I talk about beers and so on. We thought what another good thing to talk about would be like winter beers. Do you guys have winter beers or drinks that you like to partake in that's more a winterish time than as opposed to during the during the week? During the spring, summer, during the week.
Yeah, which our weekly drink or our weekend drink? Our daily drink?
Exactly. Well, it reminds me of that one. It reminds me of that one meme I saw. The doctor goes, "How often do you drink?" And the guy's, he goes like, like 5 or 6. He goes, "Oh, a week." He goes, "Oh, you're talking a week?" And he starts going like this. And he goes, "Is that?" And then it says something like beer and wine and whiskey, and it's like, "Oh, you mean whiskey? Okay." So yeah.
Yeah, it's like I only drink on days that ends with Y.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I know a guy from Ireland who drinks Michelob Ultra, claiming he's given up drinking because all he drinks is Michelob Ultra.
He's right.
Yeah, okay.
But isn't that like that should be against? I mean, if he's being Irish, him being Irish, shouldn't be allowed.
I think it's probably a good thing that's all he's drinking. But the joke about the Irish guy who goes in the bar on New Year's Eve and he says, "I'll take 3 Guinness," and he lines them up and he slowly drinks them over an hour. And he comes back the next year on New Year's Eve and he does the same thing. And the bartender finally says to him on the 3rd New Year's Eve, he says, "What's the deal?" He says, "Well, I live here now, and my one brother lives, he's fighting in Afghanistan, and my other brother he moved to America, and so every year on New Year's Eve I have 3 Guinnesses, so I can act like I'm drinking with them. And then about a year goes by, and he comes in on New Year's Eve and he orders 2 Guinnesses, and the bartender says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Did something happen to your brother in Afghanistan?" And he says, "No, I've just given up drinking."
That's good. That's good. Well, like I was sharing with Alex because like I said, he and I talk back and forth, and like tonight I've started. This is the Sam Adams Winter Lager, and I also have the holiday one. So I'm trying this because I'm usually. I like. Oh, that's still in my car. I haven't pulled that out of the car yet. It's hard. It's. Yes, actually, explain to them. Okay, that's the Yingling Chesterfield. You now have to explain the Yingling Chesterfield.
Me?
Yes, you're the one who got it. You're the one who started us on this on the beer. It's actually a beer that
I actually took a tour through the Yingling distributor. So we went through. My wife and I went through there, and we actually accidentally took a wrong turn, and we ended up by there. Don't know how that happened, but Chesterfield is only made, and they only sell it up in Yingling area, up in around the distributor, and a little bit down into central Pennsylvania, but not much. And it's a nice IPA, real smooth. But yeah, I'm definitely surprised on that. So when I went home this past weekend for a visit, I actually came up with got a couple cases to bring back since Ed wanted some.
Yeah, he was very nice. He did it without. It was a surprise when I saw it, so it was very nice of him to do. He's a good guy. He inspired me maybe to do that for somebody someday.
I volunteer.
So Pete, okay, so Alan's drinking the Chesterfield. I see. I look like you were drinking wine earlier.
I'm drinking wine because wine is part of my recipe, my mom's recipe for the sauce. So
so you're like Julia. So we could call you Pete Childs.
Yeah, the recipe only calls for a cup of red wine, but I'm well on my way to finishing the bottle.
I thought you were using it for cooking. That's like making my gumbo. To get my roux, it's normally a 3-beer roux. By the time it makes me drink 3 beers, that's the perfect roux for the gumbo.
I like starting in the fall and the winter. I like Guinness, so I'm a big Guinness drinker in the fall and the winter.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to second that, and I'm going to say that while I don't normally go for gimmicky beers, I will say that every year I go and I find Guinness puts out a gingerbread beer, which is delicious, by the way.
Really?
It's a gingerbread stout.
Oh wow, really?
Which for the Christmas season is kind of delightful to drink if you've got a sweet tooth, which I do. I know, crazy man, it's not your thing, but give it a try.
But is that how is that? Does it make it?
Try dark hollow. If you like a dark beer, dark hollow is a pretty good one as well. It has like 9 or 10% alcohol, and they normally sell it in 4 to about 4 out of than 6.
Well, that's good.
I spent a lot of time on the Delaware seashore where Dogfish Head comes from, and Sam Adams bought them a couple of years ago. But if you like an IPA, I like they've got a 60-minute,
yes,
and they've got a 90-minute. And if you go into one of their breweries or like one of their beer pubs, you can ask for the 75, which is where the guy just mixes the 70, the 60, and the 90. And if you ever have both, it's really my favorite Dogfish Head is you mix the 60 and the 90. They call it 75. And it's delicious.
I've never had that because I like both the 60 and the 90. Those are good IPAs. I'll have to go to one of their breweries one time.
Well, yeah, they used to have, I don't know if they still have a brew pub in like Fair Oaks, but they used to have one there.
Right.
But you can Google it and find out they franchise them out. But or you just go to the store and you buy a 60 and 90, you get yourself a pint glass, and you mix it at home, and it's pretty good.
Well, actually, you know what? It's funny. Actually, they used to have one in Fairfax close to where we used to live, and
Yep.
that closed years ago. But yeah. Anyway, how about
That's
you, Al?
probably the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah. What are you drinking these days in the winter?
I found this local brew called Ogopogo Brewing Company. They make one called Boomen Belgium white ale, which is kind of nice white ale, 5%, not too crazy, but it's very tasty. When I used to go to those Abbas events in Virginia, I like that ale from Dominion Ale. I think it's by your house, right? Unfortunately, it's not sold in California. It's too far. But it was a good ale. Well, it was a good ale from those days. A couple of my favorite beers that I drink, can drink them pretty much anytime, are basically brewed by a German brewery, which was founded by monks in 1040. It's a still working brewery in Germany called Wolfgang Stefaner, and they make like a nice dark one called Vitus, like a 10% dark ale, and I have a Weizen like 6 or 7%. Those two are usually my favorite beers if I don't drink anything else.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yep.
You'll have to write down the German names because the German wording and your thick accent.
Yeah,
I couldn't make out what you were saying. I was just smiling and nodding.
I will post all that stuff in Slack, so you guys can figure it out,
How about you,
Usually-
Mr. Schultz? What are you drinking? What are you having these days?
If I'm going with the beer, I like Great Lakes has a Christmas ale.
Okay.
And then Shiner has like a, what is it? Something cheer, holiday cheer.
Yeah,
I
with
like
apricot and
those.
stuff. Yeah. Shiner,
Yeah,
I tried.
Those are
The holiday
nice.
beer.
I tend to go more with like whiskey or scotch during the winter
Yeah.
once it gets cold, just because it heats me up a little bit, and it does the trick
Yep.
without having to have a can or a
I
bottle
hear
around
you.
the kids.
So yeah, that's a good point.
I could pour it into something else.
Yeah. So, but it just so I had a great line for that. So you just drink scotch or whiskey when it's cold, or is it? See, for some of us, it's a year round, like bourbon, scotch, whiskey. It's a year round. It's a year round enjoyment.
I find that I enjoy it more in the winter. I will still have some in the summer.
Right.
I just tend not to go for it as often because I like some of the summer beers, like some of the
Yeah.
lighter, something refreshing. Like Leinenkugels is always a good go-to just because it's you can kind of sip on it and enjoy, and it feels zesty, so it's not so hard to take a few back and but yeah, I'll still go with, I like bourbon and whiskey and scotch.
Yeah.
Those three. There's no season, but winter I tend to go with it more.
No, totally get it. Totally get it.
If I have a minor sauce rose, like a minor cold, I would take a few shots of there is one called Jack Daniels with honey. I mean, a few, then you go to bed and then you feel a lot better. Okay, you don't care about the cold anymore. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure. Yeah, honey's really good for a cold, Alex. That's what's probably what you're feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah, well,
it's better. It's better than NyQuil.
Yeah, it's either tea with honey and lemon or just Jack Daniels with honey. Okay, I mean, or both.
You could also, they got them with cinnamon now and all fire, like Jack Daniel's Fire.
Yeah,
I like the cinnamon with some apple cider in the fall.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That is good stuff as well.
That is good stuff. And in the summer drink, by the way, the winter drink for this time of the season, I find myself at any restaurant I'm in, the guy comes and says, "Do you guys want coffee or tea?" And I always say, "How about an Irish coffee?" Because there's nothing quite like an Irish coffee.
Old school.
Yeah.
Cold out. Oh, a good one with a little bit of whipped cream, but not too much, and the whole deal. Yes, perfect.
Yes, that is good. Some coffee, some Irish whiskey with a splash of coffee. We're good to go.
Yep.
Ed, come over. I can make that. Some coffee and a little scotch, and
I don't know. It's not cold enough yet. It needs to be colder in this area.
But I don't live too far away, crazy man. So if you could put your address in the chat, that'd be great. I'll be over in like an hour.
He'll go. Hey, we'll be doing remote broadcast from Crazy Man's garage, or we can move it. If it's too big, we can move it to my garage.
Well,
3 of us will be in the same frame.
11 years ago, we had snow. So we were off school 11 years ago because down in Loudon we got a good 6-7 inches of snow that year.
Right.
Today.
Wow, that was some fun. No, and I guess one of the last things I want to touch on before we kind of wrap up this, wasn't even thinking that this was the Christmas episode, but just kind of remember, holidays can get crazy for everybody, and just we all come from, we all have our families, some young, some older, but nonetheless, a lot of family time. So, do you guys ever feel yourself kind of you gotta step away for a moment and just say, I need to get my feet on the ground. I need to find myself, my refocus. If so, what is that? And if anybody's, because I know there's a lot of people out there that might be watching or that we know, struggles. Holidays are tough, for some people. I'll be, for me, my father passed away 3 days after the new year. It'll be 20 years this January 3rd. So this kind of time, not that it's weighs on me, but I kind of relive the whole process as we go through. So, and I think a lot of people have their own things, that they go through, and it's, and we just have to keep in perspective. And I think acknowledging that you or whoever goes through it, like if any of you go, when you guys feel that, what do you take time to, do you have anything do you not, do you like, hey, Ed, I don't have any of that stuff. I'm all good. But I mean, do you need to take a break sometime from the activities just to kind of reground yourself? Anybody can share. Open forum. Or you guys are all so cool. What's that?
I'll tell you something I do, which is sort of more become like a mental habit of mine every Christmas, which is it isn't, I have a 15-year-old and a just 14-year-old, and there's still a lot of shopping for the kids and trying to figure out what makes them happy. And my wife is sort of hard for me to shop for, and my parents are getting older, and there's her family and my family, and who are we going to visit, and and there's a lot to juggle. Plus you start to get all the school activities, the office Christmas parties, the calendar gets real full real fast. And it's easy. I think it's easy to get sort of cranky and bogged down and sort of frustrated by it all. And so the silly little thing I do, and it's going to sound corny, but I do it anyway, is that at some point after Thanksgiving, I try to sort of keep one eye open for a moment where I feel like, for lack of a better phrase, the Christmas spirit hits me. Like I just see some genuine act of charity, or I just see some little kid completely overwhelmed by a Santa Claus at the mall or something that sort of brings me back for a half a second to what it was like when I was a kid and Christmas wasn't a hassle. It was just all wonderful and all, anticipation and joy. And I just keep an eye out for it and try to appreciate it, because it gives me a little bit of perspective and helps me realize that there's a reason we go through these hassles for the nice moments later on, and they're going to come for me too and all that. So that's just a little mental thing I do, where I just try to keep my eye open for that one moment where you don't expect it, and suddenly somebody you don't expect gives you a present, or somebody you don't. Some moment happens where you're handing 3 toys to a toy drive, and the woman says, "Oh my God, what a miracle! We just needed 3 more toys." Just some weird little moment that almost seems like a little Christmas miracle. And just remember, I just always find that that's a nice little discipline to do, and a little awareness to have.
Mike, that's awesome. That's an awesome share too. I'm going to try to incorporate that into mine. That's just to look for that little bit of Christmas spirit. Anybody else want to share?
So for me, I try to balance all the things leading up to Christmas, because I think a lot of the stress comes before those days. Because I don't know about you guys, I'm blessed. My in-laws are awesome. I don't look like I don't like despise go like we literally moved across the street from them. I can see them out the window right now. And so, and then my parents are buying a house a half a mile away. I talked them into moving closer. So I love being around family, and during Christmas, especially getting all the cousins together, getting all the kids together. I want it to be a big spectacle. And so I try to slow down and just watch them find the joy of the gifts and the giving. So some of them are getting older, so they like to hand out the presents. The younger ones like to rip everything up and throw it all over the place. And then you see some of them that are at the age where they start to share the things that they have with others. And so it's a kind of a neat experience to see all of it come together at different ages and what they're doing. But leading up to it is where the stress is for me, because my kids are like going off the walls because school's coming to an end and there's not as much busyness. And then they want presents and they want gifts every day. And then there's where's Elfie and all of that chaos leading up to it. I try to make sure I spend time outside, even though it's cold. I try to make sure I spend time working out. I try to get the kids out of the house and go do things around the community, whether it's looking at lights or seeing Santa or doing stuff that makes them enjoy the chaos that's happening. And I find that helps slow everything down. And, there's a little joy in there that takes a break from the, oh my God, what are you doing? Quit climbing on that. Quit doing this. Don't ask for that. No, you can't have this. And it kind of brings it all back.
No, that's good. That's great, Charles. That's kind of, and family is good. It's crazy. As crazy as it can be, I think in the end, when you look at it, it's you're part of that dysfunction. If, for lack of a better, but that's what I call it with my family. My family's full of dysfunction, immediate and extended. Probably more
dysfunctional family. We're all one big dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
You don't have to be related to be family.
That's true. No, you're absolutely right. So how about you, Crazy Man? I know you got a lot of stuff going on. What's your kind of step away?
As everybody on the panel says, you're looking for that little spark, seeing out there, going out, continue to exercise just to get that mental break. It's that, as Charles said, it's that whole leading up to the whole thing. Then it's all coasting downhill after that. We'll be in PA for a week with my mother-in-law, and I'll go over and see my 97-year-old grandmother. My mom's out in Michigan, so I will call her and wish her a happy well. When things do feel that the stress, the anxiety, you definitely go into meditation. I mean, I definitely like listening to thunderstorms that help me relax. So, like for my day to get to work, as some of us said, it's like, oh no, I got to go to work. I am so in a OCD where every morning going to the school, I'm listening to thunderstorms. And on the way home, that's when the rock and so forth is, because you have to get yourself mentally into the groove. And mentally and physically, you need to be healthy. And to cut out the stress of the day in and day out. And we also have to remember what the whole meaning of Christmas is for some of us. And there's others that don't believe in certain aspects. So it's whatever you feel is relevant for your life and people around you. You definitely look forward to keeping and having those smiles. Like you said, every day is a blessing. And a friend of mine just lost her mother this past week, last week. And I was at her funeral, a young lady that I went to school with since fifth grade. So you figure since 1979, 1980, we've been friends. And she didn't even have to ask me if I was going to come up. I told her I'll be there because they were good to me. They treated me well, and I respected them. And I think that's where a lot of our world now doesn't respect each other on where you're coming from. We may be different, but we're all the same person.
Excellent. Alex, repeat. Say what you say.
My kids are older, so I kind of get more I reminisce at the get a little nostalgic of when they were little. I miss that time. It's a different vibe now. Like Thanksgiving, we sat around and watched musicals and crazy movies, and they kind of ran the show and drank wine and had food, and it was great. So I'm going with the flow. I mean, I love. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. I think I talked about that.
Yeah.
but I love for Christmas and Hanukkah and this time of year, it's just like this communal sense that everyone's going through a similar thing, which is very rare for our society, right? So I like being aware of that moment. You know, I mean, people can still be awful, and I can be awful, but like when you get to sense, like we're all kind of either you're going shopping, maybe you're a little stressed, but maybe you're just like enjoying the first snowfall. It's like it's a great time of year.
How about you, Alex? What do you say?
Well, I say, although I mean, we don't really celebrate Christmas as a holiday, but we more celebrate like towards New Year, like a New Year's Eve is a biggest holiday than Christmas. But I'm never offended when somebody says Merry Christmas, and I always say Merry Christmas back to that individual or people. Okay, I think it's not a religious holiday anymore. It's more like a social holiday where people just give gifts and kids are happy and they're happy to see Santa. And those kids who still believe in Santa, they have fun, it's all about celebrating stuff and getting together to do with Christ or anybody else, regardless of what religion you're coming from, okay, or you're believing. It's still a holiday. So that spirit is great, in my opinion, regardless of.
Yeah, if I wanted to get really religious, Alex, we could start a conversation. We need to put Christ back in Christmas. We won't go there. We have
people say, happy holidays, it's more inclusive, but you know what? I think it's not right. I mean,
right.
Try to replace a real holiday with something else. It's kind of it's fake, in my opinion. So it has to be Merry Christmas, regardless of what your belief or what your background is. In my opinion.
But you know what? Just what I heard from all of you guys, and I think they've kind of put a bow on this is. We want to be mindful, be in the moment, take a time, be aware of the day. The season gets so hectic, it flies by like a blurry picture. Take a moment to be mindful of where you're at and what you are. Snowstorms, a little moment of a kid screaming that he saw Santa, moment with the family. So I think that's really great stuff, guys. And I hope people out there who struggle with that kind of can take that away from this. You know what? Be mindful. And to put a bow on this episode, our Christmas episode, which it has turned into be, Charles Schultz has asked if we could do one last piece, and he's going to say, all right, what is everybody's go-to? You say Pandora, you just mean basically go-to Christmas song?
No, I have like different radio stations that I listen to with Christmas music. And so like, I'm curious what everyone's kind of go to, whether it's Spotify or Pandora or whatever you guys listen to, or even just if it's a whole album that you like, there's a record or a CD that you listen to.
We have a radio station, 94.7 Wash FM, goes all Christmas, basically now it's before Thanksgiving and goes all Christmas through the season. That's the go-to for me here in the fam. I don't know anybody else.
My go-to is whatever Michael McDonald's Christmas list is for the year.
Yeah, I do a Christmas mix every year.
I've got a bunch of his mixes.
Link that on iTunes and Spotify, and if you guys want, I'll send it out.
Send it out. Send it out, and I'll send it out. Yeah, I want to see
it's always sort of kooky covers and different versions of famous songs, and then lesser known rock songs and different things that are about Christmas. There's usually one or two funny ones and some goofy stuff. But I'll send you the link to it this year.
And I'll share it out.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
How about you? How about Al? Yeah, go ahead, Crazy Man.
Having like the rock bands are doing some of the Christmas back in the day, like Queen and Bowie and so forth. But yeah, those would be the ones that I would do.
I will say that from the rock ones, the one that always just jazzes me up the minute it starts is Billy Squires. Christmas is a time to say I love you. Just the way that opens with the guitars and it's such a feel good right out of the gate that I love that one for some reason.
Alex, do you have any?
Well, I would say that album by Frank Sinatra where he sings Christmas stuff. I mean, I heard it a few times and it's great.
Okay. Well, those are all awesome.
The
Awesome choices. And what is yours, Charles? Since
yeah,
you
the
were
one I go with a lot is Mannheim Steamroller.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And I do that on Pandora, and what's cool is it'll like link similar stuff, so you get some like newer, like Lindsey Sterling will put some stuff out there.
Yeah.
For
Yes.
people that are two cellos or what is
Is
it,
it-
two violins or whatever they are.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Mannheim Steamroller in concert?
No, I want to so bad.
I've seen them. Took my mom a handful of years ago to their Christmas concert here. It is phenomenal. It is, if you like their music, and I didn't even Lindsey Sterling's a good one too. She's
Their orchestra stuff is actually really good in
The
concert.
other good one like the other good one like that I've seen is the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
yeah,
Which
yeah,
is
they're good.
Okay, you guys, wait,
Those
you guys,
guys
what decade are you guys living? You guys are in the 70s. My God, fucking Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and Mannheim Steamroller. Like, what, is my dad on this call?
Billy Squire.
Hey,
Bob
dude.
Dylan, 2009, Christmas from the Heart. I think it's Christmas in the Heart. That's a
I
crazy
thought
album.
I was going to tell people
insane
go have.
album.
That is a good album.
Let's in the 90s.
How about Mariah Carey?
Crypt Christmas special.
Yeah.
Say
Which
what?
one?
Tales of the Crypt Christmas special.
Oh gosh.
I actually have it on CD.
Okay.
It's hilarious.
I'll have to check that out.
That's fantastic.
Well,
For the really obscure Christmas album that's fantastic is Leon Redbone has a fantastic Christmas album.
Yeah.
For those
Right.
of you who enjoy that sort of weird country jazz stuff he does, it's fantastic. He does a duet
Well,
with Dr. John on one song and one with Ringo Starr or something. Actually, that's a different album. But Dr. John's definitely on the Christmas one.
And for DC folks, DC area folks, Chuck Brown has an amazing.
Yeah.
hold on.
Go.
I just jumped
Go,
over.
go,
to
go,
Insta-
Christmas.
I
Fantastic
just jumped over to Instagram and we had somebody participating over there. And Todd Blylevin says Randy Travis Christmas album. So there you go. So Randy Travis, thank you, Todd, for chiming in. No, but guys, great episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. This is kind of going forward. This is going to be the format. We'll just kind of you guys kind of hanging out, talking about different stuff. No necessarily set agenda, just guys like they come to. It's like, as I was telling the other guys and anybody else who's just watching, when I go over to Alan's, I don't bring a list of things to talk about with him. We don't have an agenda. We just kind of sit there, have a beer, and talk. That's what this is going to be, and just see where it goes. All you guys are the panelists of the show. So, in case before anybody starts pointing things, so congratulations to you all. I wish you all. If I don't talk to you guys before, but I'm sure we will. Just have a Merry Christmas. Remember, keep a good thought as you go through the process. Don't get too crazy. And everybody else, thanks for watching. Next week, it's Decades Caliente with Mr. Rubio coming in hot and heavy as normal. Please join in. Everybody on Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube, thank you for watching. Please remember to share. And guys, thank you. Have a good night. And we are out of here.